Hello traders, how are you? Vladimir Ribakov here from Traders Academy Club, and welcome to the weekly Forex Outlook and the forecast for the week starting of 14th until the 19th of October 2018. First of all, before we begin, thank you very much for your time watching my video. Your feedback and your time is very much appreciated. Thank you for that. I hope my video and my ideas always help you to get some better view for the way I see that for the coming week, and it helps you in your own trading. If you enjoyed the video, as always, I have a personal request. Show your support back, hit this magic like button below the video, drop your feedback in the comment section below. Your support, your feedback, very simple. My motivation, keep doing it for you. So thank you in advance. Before we begin on a technical part and talking about the setups, a few important notes. The first one, on the comments below and on the description below the video, you will find a link to join our totally free Telegram channel, where myself and Jordan Kuzmanov from the Traders Academy Club as well post for you setups, educational articles, materials, ebooks, and more great surprises we will have for you in the future. So you are invited to join free, out of cost completely. It's right below. The second thing, on Monday, as every week, once my team finished preparing the forecast, the weekly forecast PDF format, we will publish that. So come back to this video, and also in the comments and the description below you will find a link to the PDF format file. Now, if you follow my newsletter emails, so just stay aware, and on Monday, normally it's afternoon, evening, my time, Canadian time, Toronto time, I will send it by email, so you can watch that as well. The next update. On the next weekend I will not be here around to record the video, so on next weekend there will be no weekly forecast. Okay, so I will see you basically in 2 weeks from now. And the last update, this is the weekly preparation. If you want to follow the daily trading setups with all the trading ideas that we have, an update on all the instruments, Forex, CFDs, commodities, indices, everything, then you are invited to join us in the Traders Academy Club. The link is below in the description. And enjoy 2 live trading rooms every single day with trading reports and setups, well, for your comfort and for your trading help. So that's all with all the updates. I hope I didn't forget nothing, hopefully not. So let's begin. This week is with expectations to the FOMC meetings that will happen on Wednesday, 2 p.m. the New York time. Very likely the market is waiting for that. So as every week, what we do is we follow up our previous review to see what worked, what failed, and where the market took us from the previous preparation. My trading always goes preparing the weekly plan and then follow this this plan. So I know in advance what I want to trade. I don't find myself fighting the charts during the week. I know in advance what exactly I want to see. If that happens this way, I know how I want to trade it. If it doesn't happen, I simply don't trade it. And that helps me and the Traders Academy Club traders just to avoid this seduction and this temptation to trade whatever we have in a moment, right? There's nothing wrong with this approach. I just think it can lead to totally wrong decisions, and this is exactly what we try to avoid. We prepare in advance and then we simply follow our plan. This is exactly what I am doing, and that's what I'm doing on my weekly videos. So I follow up our preparations week after week. So this is from the previous week. You can always go and check that on the previous week video. You have the link to that if you didn't get it on the previous Monday, so you can always go back and check. and see how it works. The PDF is available for you there, completely free. We don't charge nothing for that. It's just for you, as it is. Very simple. Let's start. The euro dollar, our plan was and remains sell the rallies. Now this was our plan from the previous week. We wanted to see a new low, and that's what, see, where is my virtual pen? Let me just drop it here. Here we go. So that was our plan. We got this drop down, wanted, but then we blocked by bullish divergence. Always a sign that we respect. Take back the profits and get out, waiting for the next opportunity. Now for the longer view, exactly as we expected on the previous week, we got the move down. Now we are looking for the retrace. We got the retrace. We are looking now back for sells. So how do we approach for this sell? Very simple. For our chart, we have reached the critical zone number 1, and from here we can start looking for sell setups. Now the sell setups could go straight or simply with creating any kind of new high with a false break, attempt to break this one, high number 1, attempt to break above that, failing, and then basically breaking this trend line, creating lower lows and continuing lower. So this is what we are following for the euro dollar. The idea is to go and sell the rallies. Invalidation, very important to have the invalidation for such case, would be this top. Because if we break above that, that invalidates the current sell, and then we simply might be getting some deeper correction towards 121 before the next portion of a sell. We are not there yet, and this is why the current scenario is bearish already, simply because we got the two waves, we got the breakout, and we got the lower lows. This is why the current fact, the structure on the market is lower lows after a false breakout. That's the current fact, and as I always say, trade the fact. Don't trade what might happen in the future, trade the fact, because we never know what the future will be like. And this is exactly what we have currently. That's why we are after sells. Invalidation is clearly the last high. The next pair on the list was the euro versus the pound for us. We wanted that to see it around 0.87, 0.8750 to get the correction to the upside. And we got that exactly at the level we wanted. And we are, let me just, and here we are exactly on the level expected, getting the correction. So we got a new low as we wanted, and now we have in the correction. What is about to happen from this moment? The way I see that, there is no, let me just enlarge it here, there is no bullish divergence. We are ticking downwards. So basically we are currently in the corrective mode, not of the two waves, right? Because there is no divergence in between them. We are only on this phase correction. So this belongs to the 4-hour chart, and therefore we go to the 4-hour chart to make our decision. And this is the move we are talking about, of course. Now on that place we can see the slowdown, so this one has to be corrected. The correction could be in two waves or a range. So that basically means we can have 1, 2, or we simply can start and create some kind of range here for a while. Once it will be broken, a range could be anywhere. That could be a channel, a triangle, a flat range, horizontal, anything. It doesn't matter of what kind of the structure. And then we are looking for the sell off for that. The invalidation for the euro versus the pound is very simply this trend line, because if we break above that, that could invalidate the cycle, which we currently refer and trade. So as long as we are below that, we are looking for the sell off. Now let's take a look on the crystal ball. Why it's so small here? Crystal ball, let's delta, that's not what we need. Here we are, crystal ball. What's going on? Something is wrong with my MetaTrader. Anyway, back to the numbers. We can figure out that the 17 and then the 20 is very, very critical period. So somewhere by the middle of this week to the next, well, to the end of this week, maybe the beginning of next week, that's the pressure place where we should be looking for the sells. That fits in exactly in our opportunity that we just discussed about based on cycle and the money flow. And this is where we will want to go and to make our sell. The next one which we had was the Euro versus the Canadian. We had two levels we wanted to see the push from, the 100 and the 161.8 expansions of the correction. Now, if we take a look on the Euro versus the CAD, pretty much that's what happened. The first pressure started to be here, then the second pressure happening now. But, and here comes the but, unfortunately what happened is that the weekly chart ticked to the upside. You see the MACD? That means that the EURCAD could also start the daily correction. So the daily could be the two waves, or daily could simply move here inside any kind of a ranging pattern before the long-term sell will continue. And that makes it pretty much unclear at this stage, because the weekly turns to be bullish, but the daily starts to be bearish again. That's an X for me. It means that we don't have any clear money flow, any clear verifications for the cycle to follow. It's a solid situation, as I call that. So for me, it simply means the EURCAD at this time being, it does not worth it. Because my plan was to get a clear view for a long-term continuation. But unfortunately, it happens this way so far. But during this week, the weekly switches the divergence direction, and that's not what I wanted to see. What I wanted to see is the reaction for continuation and the MACD on the weekly to remain bearish, and that did not happen at this stage. It's a suspicious sign, and from my point of view, the market is trying to tell us, get out. So if you got involved with this pair, this is basically saying that it doesn't worth it. So the best situation, what I normally do in such cases is or completely tightening my risk. So if I plan to risk, let's say 0.5%, now I tighten that to 0.25% or even lower, just for the example with the numbers, of course. Or simply get out, accept it as it is, and look for new opportunities. And currently, I don't have my confidence about this pair. For me, it becomes neutral, so I remove that from my watch list. New Zealandian Canadian. Now the idea was to get it next to 0.80. So the plan was to get the little move down and started to get the correction before the next sell. New Zealandian Canadian. So here we are. We got a move down, right? Just once again, just want to raise it up here. This was our plan, right? So we reached this area, right? We got the new low, we got the divergence, and we got the rally. So the biggest question is what's going to happen? And here comes the next thing, the weekly. You see the weekly structure of the candles? This is a be careful candle from my point of view. MACD ticking to the upside once again. I can't say I'm crazy about the situation. Daily does not have any divergence to confirm. The gap was closed, never was broken. Never was broken. If this structure remains, then we can expect the KiwiCAD continue to make one final low before the big reversal. Very likely. But there is a good chance that we are going to see something like that as well. So New Zealandian CAD brings me also to the place where the certainty of the movement is gone. Now it starts to be unstable. I don't want to deal with this situation. 4-hour chart also looks suspicious because it doesn't have ending divergence. Ending divergence means basic type to end the correction. It doesn't have that. So it's pretty much tricky conditions. Yes, I would not be surprised if we push through as long as we hold the gap aiming the 0.80. The certainty of the move is gone. So very low risk trading for this pair. As simple as that. It's not clear. It's not clear. If it's breaking through the gap, game over. And I would say more than that. If we have new low, let me just try to draw it here on a daily chart for you. If we get this low, which we talk about, this would be the time to start and looking for the buys to happen. So for me, New Zealand CAD, with the new low to be created, if it is created, basically becomes a good buy opportunity, closer to 080, the closer the possible. Right now, the plan from previous week is following, but the level of our uncertainty is bigger. The weekly kicker, the weekly green candle kicking this certainty to zero level. Can't say I'm crazy about that. Aussie versus the franc, our plan was to go and look for sell. The plan did not change. The pair did not do much this week. That was our view. We got a rally, we got a move down. So far so good. It never managed to continue and go lower. It was blocked with the bullish divergence and retraced, simply not developing the strong move down we expected. It doesn't change the bearish plan. From my point of view, we are still after sell, and that could happen any moment from here or the second. Let me just show you here. The second plan from the previous week. Remember, here a new high and a false break. So basically, this would be the idea: a new high, false break, and then we can discuss again about the sells. So yes, my plan was and remains bearish. The pair did not do much previous week. Nothing changed. Still remains bearish for me. Pound versus the New Zealand. We wanted to see a drop and a buy. We got that basically happen. Pound Kiwi, here we go. Here we got a drop at the beginning of the week. It became a bullish hit and divergence, and we got the buy. Now look what happens with the pair. That we have a special cycle here with a false break, which means we are now in a corrective mode. Corrective mode could be one of the two variations, or two waves, 1, 2 correction, A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, or you name that, or a range. So basically what could happen right now is we got a false break here. If this turns to be a false break, we can continue to move in a range and then push higher towards 207 to 10 probably. Or simply we are going for a deeper correction here, 1, 2, bullish divergence to form, and from there a rally towards. The plan based on the weekly did not change, still aiming for the buys. Invalidation for the bullish plan would remain the previous important low. As long as this low holds, for me it means still look for buy retraces. New Zealandian versus the dollar, we wanted to see a rally and aim to sell that. Let's check what's happening. We are getting this rally, so the idea is to go and to look for sell. The weekly starts to look suspicious. However, the current situation still looks like, because we don't have a cycle level here. Let me show you what I mean here. We don't have the cycle level, so I still suspect that to go and try to push that lower. This could be around 0.62 or slightly lower. From there, very likely we're gonna see a great reaction. Meanwhile, as long as this top holds, this one I refer to, of course, as long as this top holds, for me it means still sell the rally. Which means we drop to the 4-hour chart and we want to see the two waves with ending divergence here, and that's the place to start looking for sell or slightly higher. One or here. Sells or sells. Invalidation to the sell plan is right here. Now, well, as I showed you before, I don't know what's happening with my... Oh, here we go. We returned. Probably just needed some refresh. So here is the level. We have a good zone right now. Now we are on a bullish mode as per the historical data on specific 3 days, but I do want you to pay attention to the statistics 17, 21, 22. Basically, the middle of the week to the end of the week, we should be focusing on the next possible sell-off again. That's a very good days to follow. Meanwhile, we have the short-term buys, as you can see also, which fits our plan from previous week to the correction, and now this correction is very likely to be over. Ideally, we get a false break and the move down, or simply slightly higher with the correction and the continuation. Very important to have here is the invalidation plan. So that's for the New Zealandian dollar. Euro versus the New Zealandian, we wanted to see a drop and a further buy. So, well, this one basically becomes tricky because we got a drop during the week, we got a buy during the week, but it was blocked with a double top and a divergence. So the biggest question, what's going to happen right now? I have to admit this pair becomes a bit tricky at this stage. So I still think we are going higher. I'm not quite sure what we have here. With the daily scenario, we might be facing a range pattern right now before the rally, or we are into some deeper range, something like that, which means 1, 2, and then a rally. I would be still looking to buy the rallies. Once again, like with the Kiwi CAD, my certainty of this pair is pretty much gone. So I am yet bullish, but I can't say it's a fully confident move. Small risk, nothing more than that. Euro Kiwi, same story. I think we are going higher. Our plan was to buy the dips. We got the dip. We got the rally, never for a new high. So the plan remains the same. It is a 2 waves. We expect it to be blocked, bullish divergence, so that could happen or here or slightly lower. And we would be looking for the further buys after that. The plan did not change. Invalidation is the last low. As long as we are holding there, I suspect we are going higher from here. So for Euro Kiwi, it still looks correct from my point of view. Pound versus the Netherlands, this pair failed for me. My idea was to get it to 150, 152, but the pair never managed to do that and failed my idea. Here we go. So I wanted to see the break and the rally. Didn't work out, unfortunately, part of the game. So what do we have right now? Well, honestly, I have no clear view, and I will explain. Based on the weekly, the divergence was creating bearish hidden. Where are all these lines coming from? Here, it was creating. Now, if we take a look on the MACD, it's ticking down. So that means bearish hidden divergence in play. This is a beautiful engulfing on the top of the weekly candle. Now, I was expecting here a new high with the divergence, but what happened is that it becomes to be a double top with divergence. No problems with that, but that means we need to break down and start then possible sell the rallies. But the pair is still stuck inside a range, basically doing nothing. And this is where basically my idea is gone. Now, as long as the last stop holds, I would not be surprised if this is what we are facing right now. Very possible scenario considering this double top as an option. That means we can see the dropping towards the area of 38 down to 50. So this is definitely a possible scenario, but very important to have the invalidation, and this invalidation as the last stop. So it failed to provide me the highs I wanted to see, the 150 up to 152 to go for sell, but it was not too far from that, 149.50, no problem with that. So it's holding, failed to create a new high. So from my point of view, the Kiwi yen is basically becoming bearish as long as the last stop holds. Can I say this is a very high probability pair for me? No, I can't. Definitely not the hottest opportunity for the week. Definitely worth to watch that, but with smaller risk. No need to go when it's not obvious. No need to go and risk your money. Australian versus the dollar. Our plan was pretty much like the New Zealandian dollar. We wanted to see a move down, correction, and the sell off coming later. So this is what we have. Pretty much the plan. We got a rally, we got the move down, now it's blocked with a divergence. The biggest question is what's happening from this moment. So daily now ticking the divergence, 4-hour chart should become a corrective cycle, which means from this moment we would expect 1, 2 and a sell, or simply move inside any kind of a range and then maintain the sell. As long as the last stop holds, like with the New Zealandian dollar, I suspect that this pair is to make a new low. Okay, that's my view. New Zealandian franc, like the Aussie franc, we wanted to see a possible new high. Basically, the idea was to sell the current top here. We got a move down, but again, like the Aussie franc, it never was for a new low. It just blocked. So the move was much smaller than the expectation. It doesn't change the plan. Our view is still sell. That can happen from here, or exactly like from previous week, new high, false break, and a sell. Our plan still sell the rallies. The good part is here that if you check the crystal ball for the statistics, also you can figure out that at the middle of the week to the end of the week and the beginning of previous begins the pressure. So our view is basically go and look for the selling opportunities for this pair. Dollar CAD, we wanted to see the break of the trend line and the higher highs to be created. Dollar CAD broke the trend line. Never yet making higher highs. Sign of weakness, but from my point of view, it's still heading to the upside. This is the one that has to be broken. After it's broken, look for the buys. This is the high to be broken. Once it's broken, look to buy the retraces. As simple as that. Nothing changed since. That's dollar Canadian. Dollar yen. We were bearish this week and boom. Perfection. Kicked to the downside. The biggest question is what's coming from here. I think we are still going down because we were facing a triple cycle on the daily, so we are heading to this zone. So basically sell the rallies. My nose is itching. So basically we go to the 4-hour chart, and this is what you can see here. We have the, well, it's right here, supportive area, all these places. So we can get the correction to up to here or slightly higher and look for the next portion to sell the pair. Invalidation for this plan for the dollar versus the yen is basically this high. So dollar yen is still sell the rallies. Okay, corrections and for sell. Okay, before we go to the commodities, we got two more pairs that we follow. Dollar franc, we wanted to see short-term retraces from here, and then for buys, pretty much exactly what's happening, right? We got the retraces, so we are looking for the buys. The idea for the dollar CAD is very simple: bullish from here, or if we get a new low, then look for the buys. As simple as that. We remain bullish on this pair. Invalidation only last low. And we had one more on this pair, on this currency related, sorry, that's CAD franc. We wanted to see that going down to provide us the buy opportunities. We got the move down. We can start looking for the buys as well. It should be here or slightly lower there, that the pair would provide us our buys. Looking for the buys. So far, so good. And the pound franc, we remained bullish. It reached the targets we wanted to see. Here we are. Okay, reached the zone. Now it starts to create the false break. So from my point of view, this is the area where we should be looking for a correction. Correction could be in two waves. So basically it can be 1, 2 before the further continuation upside, or it can start to create for us any kind of a range before further rallies to continue. So retraces, and we are looking for the buys. And the pound versus the dollar, we were bullish. We wanted to see the higher highs and buy retraces, and this is exactly our plan. We got the higher highs, we got the retraces, and we got the buy. Okay, here we go. So far the plan worked basically perfectly as we wanted. The biggest question is what's next? Now here we are. This is the daily cycle, and we are holding the 61.8. Will that be the end of the pair before the move down, or are we going to the 100% and then down? Almost impossible to answer that for one reason. The daily chart makes a beautiful engulfing and ticking to the downside with a bearish divergence, but weekly is still pushing upside, and that's basically where the uncertainty comes. And the 4-hour chart also has a bullish hidden divergence. So almost impossible to say what's going to happen with this pair, meaning neutral, as simple as that. What is clear here, that if we get a new high and false break, right, a new high and false break with a bearish divergence, that would be a great sell opportunity. Okay, meanwhile, previous week plan worked perfectly. This week, as you can see, nothing certain, nothing clear. We don't have a false break yet, we don't have trend and breakout, we don't have lower lows. And we have disagreements between the divergences on the time frames, daily, 4-hour, and the weekly. In such situations, what I love to do is put my legs, well, I'm not going to put on the video, yeah, but put the legs on my table and patiently look at the charts and wait for them to create any other opportunity for us. Nothing clear. And what I'm trying to say, if it's not clear, don't force that to happen. One of the worst mistake traders do is try to force it, right? But there is a trend line, but there is a Fibonacci, but there is an angle channel, blah, 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 blah. It's too easy to find a reason. It's too easy to find a reason why yes to trade. When you do not have synchronization, or when you don't have few time frames rhyme in the same direction, don't force it. That means that the money flow isn't clear. If it isn't clear, you don't want to waste your money. As simple as that. Okay, so that's for the pound versus the dollar. And that was the last pair of ours on the previous week. So what do we have besides that? Some opportunities that work perfectly for us. Let's take a look on the sugar, which we are bullish for several weeks now, unchanged. Our plan wasn't maintained and remains to maintain only bullish positions. Our plan was and remains looking for the buys. Here we are creating new highs, nothing preventing to stop. Bullish it is, buy retraces. DAX, we were bearish expecting new lows. So, but before that, natural gas, right? We had natural gas on the commodities as well. So natural gas also, that was our plan, right? To go for buy, look for new buy to be created. This is what we got, and we got a beautiful rally. Now it was blocked with the bearish divergence, so game over. We got paid. Now we need a correction before future buys again. Very simple from here. And now to the indices. DAX was the one that we were selling, and this one is paying, and is paying brutally. Nothing against on the weekly, nothing yet against on the daily. it wasn't, remains bearish, sell the rallies. NASDAQ, we got the breakout here of the previous low, right? That's what we discussed about. Let me just raise it up here. Our plan is bearish, 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 bearish. Look where we stand. No signs against sell the rallies. Invalidation for that is this top. Okay, weekly ends up like a beautiful second candle, second bearish candle. Monthly so far, creating finally the break of the last 2 months, creating higher highs, higher lows. We finally get the bearish kick in this position. As long as the top holds, our view is sell the rallies. As simple as that. S&P, same idea. We got the break, we got the crash. That's what we wanted to see, right? Must be broken, this area right here, to go for the sell. We got the breakout, we got the crash. And what is that? Dow Jones, same story. We were bearish on this place. We wanted to see the low broken as well. We got the breakout, we got the crash. All of them same. Do not overexpose yourself. That's the most important thing for that, and remains bearish in the idea. Now, I was asked a lot during the week what's my view for gold and silver. Honestly, I have no clear view here. I think we're still going down for the longer term, but this correction is probably happening deeper. The range was broken. Now we are basically building the second leg. I see no clear signs. I remain bearish here for long term. For short term, we might see some deeper correction. I have no clear view, really, honestly. No clear view for me for the gold and the silver both for the current situation. We might get the push. I don't want to be there because for me it's still under probabilities to see new lows. I might be wrong 100%, but for me it's neutral yet on the short term. Okay, so nothing clear to me with that, and that's all. That's the current week we have. If you have any instrument that I did not cover, you want me to cover, let me know on the section below. I will try to give you my view. Once again, reminder, on the previous weekend, I will not be able to upload a weekly forecast. So I'll see you in 2 weeks from now, and I invite you to join the Traders Academy Club and enjoy from live trading room every single day with us, with all the trading setups, trading reports coming and helping you with your trading day after day. As simple as that. So you are invited. The links to join are below the video. Thank you very much for your time watching this video. As always, I hope that I'm helpful for you. I gave you some good ideas to follow for the coming week. Thank you very much for your time. I wish you a perfect trading week with tons of pips in your pockets. Yours, Vladimir Ribakov, Traders Academy Club.